Welcome to Grimy Politics. This is a supplemental video to our sudden vapor death syndrome piece we did posted to the last channel. I'm Aaron. I'm here with my buddy Josh.
Hey, what's up? We previously did a video discussion with lots of colorful language and conjecture, trying to explain what we saw happening in the vape industry. This video is going to be more straight to the business and more discussion, trying to keep out all the F-bombs. Discussion and make this video more distributable. So we'll just go ahead and get into it and we'll play it out.
All right, so let's start from the beginning. When did this start?
The first time I started hearing about anything was, I don't know, probably like the weeks leading up to the weed legislation bills being introduced into the House. It was like when all the talk started talking, people started talking about, would they're really going to legalize weed? That's when I heard the first tinkles that there might be something weird going on with people.
Well, in our previous video, you mentioned your hand-on experience. What is your experience with one?
I had a couple of them come into the building when we were open. I was always trying to help people. So we had a couple come in, and I had one lady, for instance, that I actually got to hands-on, and more than I wanted. She had brought in one, and she was having troubles with it. It looked poorly constructed. The glass wasn't lined up right. It looked somebody had thrown together. I was going to try to help her with it. I ended up with some of that material on my hands, and I happened to notice that it reeked, and reek meaning like a biological or organic smell or something. So it really kind of turned me. Yeah, dude, it was bad.
All right, were you able to help her?
I after that bowed out and went and washed my hands and called that one a day.
So what about people getting sick?
Okay, all right. So up until the time we closed, which was like at the end of June, I hadn't read a single article about people getting sick, but that did not stop the discussions. Multiple people that had come to the shop, people that I routinely spoke with about the different topic and stuff, mentioned to me that they had heard some people were getting sick from vaping, and my gut instinct was causation is correlation, and I just knew it had something to do with the THC because we had been vaping for too long for that to be the case. That it was. I felt like it was.
Why? Why do you think it was the THC stuff?
Just like I'm saying, man, like since like 2008, we've been vaping here in the United States, right? So like, I mean, dude, if there was something that was going to get people sick, people would have got sick by now. Holy crap. Vaping is, according to the current attorney or surgeon general, an epidemic. So, I mean, like if people were going to be getting sick off e-cigarettes, that would have done a happen, I think.
Okay. So after your shop closed, anything else after that?
Just media reports. Like it was like they would be like the same story from like different little places, and I don't know if anybody was even talking to each other. It was just like more stories from just different places, but it never really got anything more than that from what I saw.
So articles like we've read in the main video citing CDC, Illinois Department of Health, and 193 possible sicknesses related to vaping.
Yeah.
And otherwise healthy people. So I think it's some of the people with THC infused vapes.
Some. That's funny.
So how would you say that?
Because it's like, it's like, all right, like there's funny anecdotes I could use, but it's basically boils down to the fact that it's like, wait a minute. These 30 people are sick this one way, and they all say they did something, but these 4 other people are sick the same way, but they said they didn't. You know what I mean? It's like I honestly I think some of these people would take the fact they vape THC to the grave with them.
You think they all use THC vapes?
I think every one of them that's sick right now either knowingly or unknowingly did, but the symptoms are too crazy.
Alright, so we covered this in the last video. We talked about it, and it's already in the news. We already seen articles. So why are we not doing Spider-Man versus Sony right now? Not covering that.
Right. Because of the new relevant information, man. Like up until the point that there was a possible causation, there was nothing to talk about. It was like, it was just conjecture, what everybody said. Who knows what's really happening. The difference is now is that there's a new smoking possible gun. I read something, put some stuff together, and I think I may know what the deal is now.
Okay, so what is the cause?
The cause is Occam's razor. The simplest solution is usually the obvious one. The introduction of THC cartridges coincides with the illness complaints, which also coincides with new marijuana laws being suggested in the state, which caused everybody to quit prosecuting marijuana laws. So, I mean, we've seen it. People here in Illinois want to know what I'm talking about. Like, nobody cares anymore. Like, you can just do your weed thing because ain't nobody prosecuting it. So it was like a perfect little situation where all these people could come together to fearlessly sell THC infused liquids on Facebook.
So you are confident this is what you call sudden death vape syndrome.
This is what's causing it. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't really see anything else that could. There's overwhelming circumstantial evidence, and you couldn't prosecute with that, but you could sure as hell get a search warrant with it. Like you could, I mean, there's enough evidence here to justify doing some tests on some different cartridges, and I am gonna put in a little effort to try to call around. I need to find somebody with a flame spectrometer. I've had somebody giving me some of the cartridges that were on the black market, and I'm going to try to get them tested somehow. But
so what is it?
yeah, it's a chemical. It's a fungicide called myclobutanol. Okay, all right. It's this crazy powerful fungicide that the FDA has a zero tolerance with. I just found that out last night. We did the video, and then I did more research. I found out that this myclobutanol, the FDA has a zero tolerance with the stuff. That's unusual.
A fungicide.
A fungicide, yeah. Basically, so THC has weed in general has a really nasty ability to grow this fungus called aspergillus, which is really damaging a fungus to get inside of you, and it just loves marijuana products. And the best place it likes to grow on marijuana is really moist environment. It loves to be in moist environments.
Like in cards.
Oh, perfectly. Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And after doing a little digging around, dude, it's actually possibly worse than just the regular need for it, because like it turns out, like I found some pictures, man, that people were moving these carts around. Look at this. This is how they were moving them around. That it's in a back of a pickup, just covered up with tarps. This guy, he's got 270 pounds of them there, so he may just be driving this stuff cross country. So if the carts are spending their times under a tarp, dude, holy crap, that is the ideal scenario for fungus to grow, period. So not only are they fighting the regular scenario with having to fight the fact that fungus wants to grow in their THC, but they're giving it an ideal petri dish in which to do it.
But isn't PG and VG supposed to stop this stuff?
That works in e-juice. I mean, that's what we've always done. Like we've always been able to take solace in the fact that for the most part, like VG, PG is antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial. Stuff can't grow in the juice. But the difference is the chemistry difference between just nicotine and THC. Nicotine's it's very rudimentary, similar to cocaine and caffeine. But like when you start talking THC, you're starting to talk much more complex molecules that different things can feed on. So it's just a better, like they apparently either need something more powerful, or they're doing this completely wrong, and these THC cartridges need to be like refrigerated. Like, I don't know, I'm not in that industry, I don't know, but what they're doing is not working.
So what is this fungicide? I mean, how is it actually hurting people?
How does it hurt them? So basically, the reason that this myoclon, whatever, I'm saying it again, the reason this stuff got removed is because the chemical, when it gets heated up, which I found out only 205 degrees, once it hits that temperature, it busts into a bunch of different chemicals, and the biggest one that's a concern is hydrogen cyanide. And hydrogen cyanide is brutal to anything that lives. And
it sounds bad.
It's caustic, and it creates all kinds of mayhem, and it produces other chemicals too. But like the biggest one is the hydrogen cyanide for sure. And what I got is I've got a chart that actually compares the different symptoms. So we have it here. It's the symptoms of the vaping lung illness symptom, which we're now calling sudden vapor death syndrome, and the hydrogen cyanide. And there's a lot of correlations here. I don't think you can see my mouse, but like there's the vomiting, nausea, fatigue, which weakness is fatigue, the coughing, the headache. The headaches don't correlate, but here's the thing I want to point out about the hydrogen cyanides list. At no time did the CDC do an experiment to see what happens if you heat hydrogen cyanide up to 400 degrees and then have people
Right.
inhale it. That never happened. They never did that. So the only list we get is if you just breathe it in or it gets on your skin and things of that nature. But there's a lot of correlations between the two of them to indicate there could be something there.
All right, so where are people getting this? And I'm probably about to butcher this word. Myclobutanol.
Dude, very
Ew.
close. Yeah, that's about as close as I've got. Yeah, you got it.
Right.
I hate to tell people where to get it, but the reality is a simple Google search is going to end up right here at Amazon, baby. That you can get it from Amazon, $159. Hurry, only one left in stock, and I will point this out. Yesterday, whenever we pulled this list up, there was 2 left, and there's only 1 left now.
Damn.
So someone bought another one. I'd be willing to bet you could probably follow this stuff around and find out what's going on. The problem is the stuff in the wrong hands is just wildly dangerous. The FDA has a zero tolerance policy on it. That's a very specific term of words that means your only acceptable amount of this stuff is 0 parts per million. If there's 1 part per million of this stuff in your food, you're done, and it's done. And I know that because I read an article about Denver. 2017, there was 3 different plants that were growing weed, and they got shut down because the FDA found myclobutanol in their stuff and shut them down. And it was like 10 or 20 parts per million, dude. It was a ridiculously small number, but that's all that it matters. So, like I said, I think this chemical really stands as the smoking gun or something similar to it. There's another one that's called Eagle 20 EW or something, but it's a very similar chemical makeup that I really think is the smoking gun on this. It's very circumstantial, and I am willing to apologize later for being wrong, but someone's going to have to prove me wrong, and I am going to try to back up my word. I'm going to contact my health department. I'm going to contact the local college, see if I can get a flame spectrometer to look at this stuff to see if it's in there, and if it is, we'll follow up on it, you know. But that's kind of, again, we just wanted to represent this information in a more digestible scenario and less colorful language.
Clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, Errol's watching me. He's trying to keep me in check on that stuff. So we think we did it a little bit better. But thank you for watching. I'm gonna hand it over to Errol. Thank you so much for sitting through this again.
Thank you for watching us. Thank you for seeing through. If you made it, thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment. Stay tuned for more videos in the future.